Hey, it's me, Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, Stats Geek Sean, and it is Friday. It's August the 4th, and that means we have a whole new set of data points for our weekly market watch for the Denver metro market. Now, full disclosure, if you just want the high-level overview, the simplistic look, kind of the table of contents, wait till next week when we drop our monthly market watch, our market in a minute. If you like to really get into the numbers like I do, this is the video for you. And I presume you'd be watching this because you plan on entering the market, or you're just a stats nerd like myself. And the story this week continues. If you look at this whole matrix here, this is the entire year. All these blues for sellers, and I mean that literally with the color scheme and also figuratively, because it is getting a little bit more and more difficult to sell a home in this market than it was earlier, say the spring months, when you were seeing all these reds. So if you haven't guessed by now, these reds and oranges that's the heat for the sellers. Those are the hotter sells. Versus opposite end, you got these blues and these greens, means things are cooling off in these metrics. And that's a week over week approach. So without further ado, let's dive into it. I am on Loom, so I have limited time. And I'm too cheap to pay for the upgraded plan. Anyways, odds of selling, that's the first metric we look at. That is the relationship between supply and demand kind of summed up into odds of selling, which in April kind of peaked out about 67% for a handful of weeks. Down into the mid-50s, it did bump up a little bit week over week to 55.3% last week. You're going to see my face kind of zooming in here because I want to keep showing the full screen here. Average daily active. How many listings are on the market any given day on average? New high for the year. So if you're a buyer, that's a good thing. 5795 last week. It's been steadily climbing since about mid-June. New listings actually went down. So the average number of listings on the market went up. New listings, did go up by 50, but they are down from, you can see some of these bigger weeks where 1,300 homes hit the market. 1,088 last week. Okay, so normally I'll skip over this back on markets, expire, and these withdrawn. Yet all three are in the blue here. So kind of important to pay attention to. That is 267 properties fell out of contract and back into the market, whereas 248 listings expired, came off the market unsold. 165 voluntarily pulled theirs from the market. That's a lot of properties that either A, fell out of contract, or B, failed to sell. And I'm sorry for those sellers who did not get a contract. Speaking of contracts, 987 went under contract last week. That's up from 967. Closings went up to, let's see, their highest number of closings since the first week of June. So that's a good thing, yet that is a lagging measure. Predictive MSI, that's month supply of inventory, went from 1.4 months to 1.3 months, meaning at current demand levels, it would take 1.3 months for all these homes to sell out. Skipping over a few here, we got about 90 seconds left. Stay with me here. By the way, if you like this stuff, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Do all the YouTube-y things. Okay, total showings. Pretty steady, down a little bit. You can see where we kind of peaked out in April with over 17,000 buyer showings in a week, down to 12,000 and some change, about 12,500 consistently the last couple of weeks. That equates to 2.1 showings per listing when you do the math. Showings to contract means that buyers saw on average 12.6 homes before they went under contract. Median days on market jumped up a little bit from 11 to 13. That's something to watch. Certainly, that number continues to grow. It's becoming, again, harder to sell a home. And typically about a third of listings decrease. You can see that number was way down earlier in the hotter months of spring, yet 37.6% of listings decreased. These price reductions, guys, are getting bigger. That's something to pay attention to as well. The average price reduction last week was 41,000 and some change, equating to 5.3%. So there you have it. This week's version of the in-depth look at the Denver metro market. These stats, by the way, are brought to you by our friends at First American Title, so thank you for putting that data together. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, we'll see you next Friday.